mynews.studio.
Imagine being able to predict multiple sclerosis years before symptoms, with just a single drop of blood. Could this new test change the way we approach MS detection?
Today's date is July 31st, 2025. There's news about a new blood test that might detect MS long before symptoms show up. That's a big shift from current diagnostic methods, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Right now, MS is usually only diagnosed after neurological symptoms appear. By that point, some damage is often irreversible. Doctors rely mostly on clinical exams and MRI scans, but intervention is less effective once symptoms set in.
So what's actually different about this new test?
The main difference is what it looks for. Teams in Vienna and San Francisco developed this test to detect specific autoantibodies in the blood. These antibodies target a protein from the Epstein-Barr virus, EBV, which has a strong connection to MS development.
Wait, so it's not picking up MS itself? It's tracking the immune response to a virus?
That's right. After someone is infected with EBV, these autoantibodies can appear in their blood as soon as 3 years post-infection, and sometimes years before MS symptoms begin. Large studies showed that if these antibody levels stay high, the risk of developing MS is much higher.
How reliable is this test compared to what doctors use now?
So, in these studies, about 10% of people with MS had this specific autoantibody signature. It isn't present in everyone, but for those who do have it, the predictive value is significant. Compared to waiting for symptoms, this test gives doctors a head start.
If the test is so promising, why isn't it already used everywhere?
There are a few reasons. First, researchers still need to confirm the test works equally well in different populations, not just in the groups that were studied first. Another thing is confirming these antibodies really are unique to MS. If they show up in other diseases, the test becomes less specific.
And regulatory approval, that can take a long time, right?
Exactly. Regulators want evidence that early detection leads to better outcomes, not just earlier diagnoses. There's also the technical side, standardizing the test and figuring out how to integrate it into existing healthcare systems.
Any estimate on when patients might actually see this test in clinics?
It's difficult to give a precise date. The test has already been published in major journals, and MS advocacy groups are supportive, which could help speed things along. But large-scale trials and regulatory reviews are still needed, so it'll be at least a few more years.
If the test becomes widely available, how might that change things for healthcare systems, especially in countries with fewer resources?
Early detection could mean faster intervention, possibly reducing long-term disability and lowering healthcare costs. In wealthier countries, that might translate to more targeted therapies. But in places with fewer resources, the impact depends on affordability and access to follow-up care. Without treatment options, early detection alone doesn't have much effect. The infrastructure needs to be there too.
Could this lead to preventive treatments or even a vaccine for MS?
That's what researchers hope. The strong link between EBV and MS, now backed by this antibody test, provides a clear target. If studies show these antibodies play an active role in MS, not just as markers, then blocking them or even preventing EBV infection could help lower MS rates. Both vaccines and antiviral therapies are under investigation, but they're still in early stages.
So, it's one of those moments where science answers some questions, but also opens up a lot of new ones.
Exactly. It's shifting the way we think about chronic diseases, catching them sooner, intervening earlier, and maybe one day preventing them completely.
And it's not just about MS, right? This shows how using early biomarkers and personalized medicine could change the approach for many diseases.
That's right. It's a reminder of what becomes possible when science, technology, and medicine come together. With millions affected by MS worldwide, the potential impact is global.
Let's recap. Researchers have developed a blood test that can detect MS risk years before symptoms by identifying antibodies linked to EBV. The potential is huge, but it still needs more validation, regulatory approval, and steps to make it accessible to everyone.
And as we wait for what's next, it's clear this is more than just a medical advance. It's a story about hope and about the future of preventing disease.
Thank you for listening. This episode was brought to you by mynews.studio. Try it now for free.